In this video, I'm going to show you how to replace your fuel pump on your Honda CR-V. It's located under the rear seat. You're going to want to relieve the fuel pressure before beginning this job. So you're going to find your fuel pump fuse or your fuel pump relay and removing that. We're going to disconnect our relay, which is inside the glove. We're going to take these out using a flathead screwdriver. You just go right underneath, twist, put them out, and let that fall. And then we're going to take out this blue one. All right, so this relay has two tabs that you got to pull back on in order to get it out. You're going to crank the vehicle over about 4 times. Usually is all it takes. If it runs, let it run out of gas. If it doesn't run and it just keeps cranking, you should be good to go. And one more. Okay, that should be depressurized. Using a 10mm socket, we're going to disconnect our negative battery terminal. Okay, now we're going to remove our gas cap and just let it hang. And now we're going to go to the back seat. You're going to pull this handle and you're going to fold the seat down on this side and also on the other side. So you're going to make sure your rear seats are all the way back and folded down. And now we're going to pull this handle and it should lift up. If it doesn't lift up that easily, it's not all the way back. Now do the same on the other side. All right, from here we are going to lift up this, and then we're going to lift up the rug here. And your fuel pump is right here. To keep the rug up, I'm going to bungee cord it here, pick it up, and then just hook it. Next, you're going to need a Phillips head screwdriver, and we're going to unscrew the cover that leads to the fuel pump. You can lift up on this. All right, so we're going to disconnect our connector using a screwdriver. I'm going to go in and then push that tab in and then pull out the connector. Now we can put this off to the side. Next, we're going to disconnect our fuel. This has a quick release on it. I do recommend putting a rag over it and wearing some safety goggles, just in case. So I've disconnected it by squeezing in on these and then pulling out on this line. Don't use any battery operated tools while doing a fuel pump or anything fuel related, in case there is spark from the brushes. Now that we've disconnected the fuel, I'm going to soak it up with the rags. You're going to need a container next to you. So you're going to need a tool like this that has slots here to slide over the housing of the fuel pump ring, like this. This is adjustable, so I can adjust it if it's too big or too small. I want it to slide down a little bit more, so I'm going to loosen that up. going to tighten it down. And then we're going to use our 3/8 drive ratchet and unscrew the cap. This just allows you to unscrew it. Just make sure you don't get in the way of that line. Just push it off to the side. So I'm applying pressure downward and unscrewing. So you're just going to keep unscrewing it until it comes off. At this point I can use my hands instead of my ratchet. And we're just about there. It's always good to have a rag, just in case you got spillage. So I'm going to take this off, put that in my container. So now you're going to pry away the fuel pump from the tank with your fingers. Should pop up a little bit. When you pull this out, it is going to have fuel in it. So you want your container nearby so that you can drop it in there. When you pull it out, you do have to tip it a little bit to get the float out. If you look down inside there, you can see where that is. Ours is over here, so we're going to tip it this way. Slow and steady is usually the way to go. Let it drain. This may take a few minutes. Make sure it's going in the tank. Now that it's drained, we're going to take it out and put it in our bucket. We're going to install our gasket onto our fuel pump. You're going to make sure the lip is up on it, and you're going to slide it over. Make sure you clear that line and go all the way around, and now you can slide it up onto the fuel pump like that. And then when you're installing it, your ring will go over it and it'll screw into the top of the tank. Alright, so we're going to put the float in first. You're going to feed that down at an angle. And you're going to rest it. You're going to press it in. Make sure that you're lined up basically the same way it came out. So then we're going to put our pull down on and start to tighten it down. Make sure it's not cross-threaded. We're going to get our tool. Make sure your fuel line isn't lost somewhere. I'm going to get this hand tightened. So with your tool and a torque wrench, you're going to torque it to 69 foot-pounds. You're going to have to keep moving that fuel line out of the way or prop it up somewhere. remove your tool. We're going to connect our fuel line, pressing it in. And we're going to connect our wire by pressing in. Hearing that click is important. And then we can put our cap on. We're going to put our screws in. And then tighten them down with a Phillips head screwdriver. You want them snug. Make sure your tape is back stuck down for that wiring harness. Remove your tools and put the carpet back down. Now we can unbungee our carpet, put that back down. Ours looks like it's missing its little push pins. So I'm going to go ahead and replace those. Make sure that your chair post things that they attach to or hook onto are exposed. All right. And put that push pin in. Beautiful. Put this down. Now we can put our seat down. I'm going to release by pulling that, clicking that. Pull that, push it down, lock it. Pull this lever, push the seat up. Just make sure everything's secured. Now we're going to put our gas cap back on. Shut the door. So now we're going to connect our relay. For ours, the writing is going to be on the passenger side. And that's how it only goes in one way. You're just going to push down and hear that click, and you know you're in. We're going to put our negative battery terminal on using a 10mm socket. I'm going to snug it up. Make sure it's pretty snug so this doesn't move at all, and you're good to go. So we're going to cycle the key on. I'm seeing my fuel gauge go up, so that's a good sign. I'm going to shut it off. We're going to do this a few times to get the fuel through the system. All right, so now we're going to try to start the vehicle. And it's running. Now we can put our glove box back. I'm going to pick it up, push this through, get ready to push it through, should I say. I'm going to bypass that little, you want to bypass this before you put this through. And fit it in, give it a good push, and that should hold it. And you're going to do the same on the other side. Get it past that bracket, press it in, and that should work. Now your glove box is going to shut, and you're good to go.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.